Hey everybody, it's Onyx Nova Cosplay, and this week I'm going to show you my updated Raven belt. So this is a picture of me with my old one. Oh, and the gem too. Updated belt and gem. But yeah, I love Raven with my whole heart, and so I really want to be able to cosplay her again. So this is my belt for her, and the gem. You can see they are, old. I made these when I was first starting out with cosplay. This belt, I think, is... God, I don't even know how old this belt is. But it's a Calvin Klein belt? Look at that. So, like, if this is an actual expensive belt, I'm sorry. But yeah, so when I first made this belt, I ended up taking, gems made from clay and just gluing them on the back of this belt. So I could paint them and have it be all good. So the first thing I'm going to do is re-glue down the edges because it is so old and beat up and has been to so many conventions that you can't really say they're stuck on anymore. They're like fighting for dear life. But yeah, I'm going to glue them all back down, and then once that glue is dry, I took some of this gold paint and I touched up all the gold areas because, oh my goodness, this belt is so beat up. I feel so bad for it. But yeah, so I went back and I painted it all. One of the things I love most about cosplay is that you can just be whoever you want. Like, I always like pretending to be like the tough badass characters when I was little. Like Buttercup was probably the first character that I was ever like, oh yeah, I'm just like her, even though I was definitely probably more of a Blossom. But now that I've been cosplaying for like a decade now, I feel like I can just be whoever I want, and being Raven is one of those characters that just makes me feel like super powerful and super, I don't know, like I'm cool. Which is why fixing this belt was a top priority. I had to do a couple of coats of gold just because it was so beat up that it really took some doing. I also touched up the gold on the gem a little bit just because it has been a little while. The gem is literally just a piece of foam that I wrapped in duct tape and then painted the tape and then put one of those clay gems on it like I did in the past. But yeah, so I just updated the paint on all of them. Oh goodness, just so they could all be coherent. And then, with a little lunch break, wait for it all to dry. And then once it was dry, I came back in, to clean it up a little bit because I did not like how it was going. But I wanted it to be a little better. So I grabbed my red paint. I always use, Apple Barrel. It's the easiest, it's the cheapest. And I went back and I painted all of the gems red again because they were all beat up, partially from the gold I used to repaint the sides, partially from just wear and tear and age. And I had to go over this again, a couple of coats. They were old. As you can see, this is just coat one and it is so streaky. So I had to go back and edit it by painting a little bit more, and then once it was dry, I grabbed metallic paint and covered it up so they could be a little shiny, and I like that so much better. So yeah, that's without the shine, and that's with the shine, and I love that metallic paint. However, it was a little pink for my liking, so I had to mix a little red in with it, just so I could get more of the red color I wanted for Raven. But yeah, I went through, painted them all this nice metallic color, including the gem. I painted them all a couple of coats of this just so it could be all nice and shiny. I did have to go back and touch up a couple of spots because the red paint got a couple of places I didn't want it to go, but it wasn't too hard. Just went back in with some gold paint and touched it up. So now onto my favorite part, the little Raven gem that has an actual Raven on it. So there's two versions that are popular with her, one with just the mainly red with some black shadows, or there's this one which has an actual literal Raven on the gem, and I just thought that was so cute, so I decided, why not? I'm gonna make that one for myself. So I just went in, and it was really hard to draw with one hand, not be able to hold the other side. But I went in and I sketched the outline of this little raven on the gem itself, just so I could have a basis to start before I started slapping paint on this. Also, yes, I am left-handed. A lot of people, when they notice, they're like, whoa, what? But yeah, it's just an interesting way to live. But yeah, left-handed. And like I said, apple barrel paint, always there for me. I broke it open and just started getting the base color of the black down. I was careful around the edges just so I wouldn't have to go back in for a third time and touch up the gold around the sides. I probably could have like taped it or something, but I just didn't think about it in the moment. I was just so excited to paint that I just wanted to get right in and just do it. I think painting is possibly one of my favorite parts of building a cosplay, just because I feel like it's the most like decorative and exciting part, whether it's gems or the fabric or whatever. I just absolutely adore painting as part of the cosplay, even if it takes, you know, like a couple coats or a couple tries to get it right, or, you know, have to find the right mix of colors. I really just always love how it turns out in the end. Because it just, I don't know, it's just one of my favorite things. But you know, with that being said, what is your favorite thing when you put together a cosplay? Like, do you have a favorite thing you like to design? Are you really good at makeup or wigs or sewing? Like, what is your thing? Also, excellent job of me focusing right on my hand. But what is your favorite thing about cosplay? Let me know down in the comments below, because I always love hearing what people love the most about this hobby. So here is the outline of it. And in case you were wondering how I remembered, I just sketched off to the side of my to-do list so I could remember. So now that I have that down, I'm waiting for it to dry. I'm gonna go ahead and add some shadow to the belt that you see right here. Because the red is all fine and dandy, but I wanted to give this belt a little bit more dimension, just so it wasn't so flat red in your face. So I took some of that apple barrel red, a little bit of the apple barrel black, just mixed them together, and then I just kind of dry brushed it onto what would be the bottom half of the belt. I know it looks like the top here, but that's just because I have this belt all twisted on this table. But yeah, so the shadow goes on the bottom of it, so that way when it's on my body the correct way, it will look like there is a dark shadow at the bottom of the belt. And you know, at first I was a little nervous actually about putting this shadow on the bottom of the belt. I didn't want it to look like too cheesy or too cartoony, but I think I found the right mix of paints that gave it just enough of a shadow to look like it was an animated shadow, but not enough to make it look like it was poorly done. But yeah, I really like how this shadowing ended up turning out. I thought about putting some on the gem, but I didn't want to like go too overboard with the colors on it. Another thing about me when it comes to making cosplays is that I can kind of be a little bit of a perfectionist. And so I will just go back over and over again to try and make sure it looks exactly how I want it, which is what I'm doing here. I literally just kept going in until all of them looked the exact way I imagined them in my head. And just like that, with the finishing touches, it is done. The only thing I didn't record was putting Mod Podge on it to seal it. But other than that, it is all good to go. I did a little closet cosplay of Raven at home just so I could see what it would look like with the new wig I got her and some dark clothing. And I really like how it turned out. I don't know what I'll work on next for her. It'll probably be a little bit until I do, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video just the same. If you guys have any like suggestions or comments or thoughts about this video or any of the other parts of the Raven cosplay that I will make in the future, please feel free to just drop a comment. And if you really did enjoy it and you made it this far, then thank you. I hope you will leave a like if you liked it. I hope you subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you next time, okay? Bye-bye, guys.